Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Coding Ninja, and this is the fourth lecture in the series of Java Spring Boot application where we are building a demo application from the scratch. And so in this lecture I'll be setting up one of the tables that we saw, so that we created in one of the previous lectures. So if you remember, we have two tables, product and product type. So I'll do product type in this video, and I'll give product as a take home assignment. So you guys can hammer it out, try to do it on yourself, like you'll learn better that way. And in the next video, I will just show through the product, and you can either go through the code or you can go through the video lecture to understand how everything is done. There will be just one thing that will be the product type. So it will be like you have to use some I'll tell you the annotations. So the annotations would be the there is an annotation called join column, and there's an annotation one to one. So, or like something along those lines that you will have to use. We will come back to that later. Let's now get started with creating the product type table. All right, so first things first, let me go to the IntelliJ, and as you can see, the heartbeat is still working as we left off. All right, now getting into the crux of it, now let's get into this. So first thing first, and as I said in the last time, I have added this lecture 3 notes, like not the notes, the database creation over here. So you can copy this and run this in your database. You will get the exact structure and the data as I already have. All right, let's get into the lecture. So first things first, we need to uncomment the POM repositories for these two dependencies, because we will be requiring these dependencies. Let me just do that. Just a quick tip. So in Mac, in IntelliJ, there is a simple command, control and uh, slash, that can be used to quickly comment and uncomment the code. So that is what you can use, and that will work out in most files, in XML files, this properties file, and it will also work in the Java files as well. So now that we have uncommented this, let's go to application.properties, and now what we need to set up is we need to set up the things that we will be using for the that will be helping us to connect us to the database. So if you remember correctly, last time when we were setting up trying to start it up, we were getting an error saying unable to find URL or something along those lines. Let's just, so yeah, URL attribute is not specified. So we will be configuring the URL and the other things as well. So let's get into that. So the first thing we need to specify is what is the driver. So driver is basically what kind of database you're using. So that I'll do that. String.data source.driver hyphen class hyphen name is equal to com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. So this is basically me specifying that we are using a MySQL database. So if you're using a Postgres or some sort of different database, so that you'll have to find the driver class name online, and then you will modify it accordingly. The next thing comes is the URL. JDBC MySQL ://. So this is the, so now we'll be specifying where it is deployed. So right now this is localhost, but in deployment you can either point to AWS or whatever your endpoints are for the deployment. So for me, it is, since it is localhost 3306, so I'll be putting that. So that's the server and port name, and then we'll be putting it database name. Java Spring application. Next is the username. Spring data source dot username is equal to root. Spring dot data source dot password is equal to. So I have just used a simple password. Like you can use whatever you want. So yeah, but you have to put your username and password in these two statements. Next is spring.jpa.show SQL. I will set this statement to true. So basically, whenever you will be running any sort of JPA queries, they will automatically show down here in the logs. So when we'll actually run it, I'll show an example. String.jpa.hibernate.bdl auto to update. So this will automatically create the tables if you incorrectly specify, so be careful with that. And now we are just providing the dialect. So dialect is again kind of the language kind of thing only. It's nothing. Hibernate dialect equal to or dot hibernate dot dialect dot MySQL 5. So this is depreciated, but like this will still work. If just because things are depreciated does not mean it will fail. Now what we need to do is we will start with the table. So I'll create a new table under DTO only. So this will be a new Java class and this will be product type. So it's a good practice to give the same name as the table, but yeah, if it's a complex one, you can give a simpler name. And now we will annotate this table to specify that this is one of the entities that we'll be using. So the first thing first is the data. This is the basically getter, setters, and those things that you will usually require. So now we need to annotate this table. Name will provide over here as product vector type. So you will provide whatever name you have specified in your database. And you'll have to also annotate it as entity. So this is basically saying that this is a database entity. Now next is ID. So basically we are specifying that this is the primary key for us. Now column name is equal to product and type ID. So this is the basically the name of the column as you have specified in the database. And now again, now we'll use private string product type ID. This name you can provide anything, but it is usually a good practice to basically name is the same. And usually what happens is if you don't provide this @name column, so basically this camel case is automatically converted into this underscore kind of the notation. But it is also again, it's a good practice to provide the column and provide the exact name of the column. That's what we are using. So, and in this scenario, like we can, let's say if we wanted a different name, we could do so. But if we don't provide the column, it will be unable to find the column, and it will create a new column since we have specified AutoDDL is equal to update. Now we'll create the next column. Name is equal to product type description private. So this will be a byte array actually, since we are using a blob kind of data type in database. So this will be this. The product. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot. So like just to show like the application.properties are now working. Let me just connect to the database. Let me just start the application. So right now we already have the product type, so we are not doing anything on it. So this will be fine as of right now. All right, we are facing some sort of an issue. Java Spring unknown. Okay, I'm guessing there is. Okay, so this this name is incorrect. So let me correct this. So this will be an underscore actually. And our application is up. And so here it is basically the saying, so like this is saying depreciated, that's fine, that's not big of an issue. No supported, but yeah, initialize JP entity manager. So basically this is basically saying that it is now working. Now what we need to do, the next step what we'll do is we'll create a new Java class, and that will be the product type return. So the reason I'm creating this class is because we have a blob kind of an array, like, and this would not be human readable. So I'll show you with the example when we come to it. But yeah, so but it will not be human readable, so we'll have to convert it to a string format. So again, I'll annotate it with @data, and we'll have private string. So basically, we just need to have this line, and we'll have this as well, description, and instead of bytes, it will be of string format. Now we need to create a controller to get the access to basically make any sort of changes to it. So I'll do another get mapping, and this will be product type. Yeah, just a piece of advice. So it is not good practice to put the verbs in here, because this would basically to the outer world, basically you will be exposing that, okay, so we are using a get request over here. I mean, it is usually quite easy to get it from the results tab in the Chrome, like any sort of browser. But yeah, it's still not a good practice to declare that this is a get verb or whatever verb it is. And now we'll need the product description ID. We are using a path variable for in this example, but yeah, there are multiple ways to do it. So there's a path variable, then you can have request body, and then there's one more where we basically provide the object name. I don't remember the name of it. I'll find it and I'll get back to you guys on that. So now we'll have again public response entity get product type. Here you can specify any sort of name, like here this thing is not exposed to the outer world, so you can put anything you want over here. Now we want this to be, so we need to make this as path variable, and let me just search this. There's this variable, and then there's, okay, I don't remember it, but yeah, basically the other format is the, so a path variable looks like this, and the other one is, let's say, the query params. Yeah, the other way is query params. So basically there are three ways. So there's path variable, then there's query params. So basically you specify a key and a value, and this is what it looks like in the URL. And when you have a post, basically you can specify a body as well. So this becomes your request body. So in this scenario, we'll just use the query params, and yeah, so let me just delete this. So we are just using query params, and we are just providing the ID over here. Now if we go, sorry, it's path variable, not query params. So product. All right, and now what we'll do is we need a service layer. So REST controller is your entry point, and a service is basically your entry, is your basically where your business logic resides. I mean, you can write everything in here, but it is not a good practice to do so. And there's a special annotation as well where you declare it as a @service, and it will basically take care of the business operations. And yeah, I forgot one thing. We'll need a repository as well here. So I'll create a new class, repository dot product type repository, and this will be of type interface. And so here you just do implement, or not implement, extends JPA repository. You specify what it is using. So here we are using, what type is it? So basically product type and the primary key. So the primary key is of type string. So this is how you declare it. So basically JPA repository by itself gives us certain functionality that, like basic CRUD operations and pagination and ordering things, it gives us. So we'll be using this. So here you might not see all the things, but yeah, again, then it again extends the list, CRUD repository, then there's find all, save all, find all by ID. But so there's quite a few helpful methods. And whenever possible, it's better advised to use these methods internally instead of creating your own @ queries. In that scenario, you don't need to take care of the parsing and like in the SQL injection. Like it's a little better to go this way. All right, now we have the product, and now I'll go to service. So we'll need a new package and service, and this will be product service. Let's call it. Now, yes, so as I mentioned, this is a business logic layer where we'll write business logic code. So here we need to declare it as @service. Now what we'll have is we'll have a public method which will be returning product type return, and this will be product type. Let me do get product type. This will have a string, and that will be product type ID. Here it doesn't really matter because like now this think of it like a simple get request. I mean, not a get request, a simple method. You don't need to specify it's a path variable or whatever it is. You'll just call this from the other layer, the controller layer. So here what we'll do is we will be using the repository. So let me do this auto-wired private product type repository. So this auto-wired is a very helpful annotation that you will be using the most of the time. So what this does is as I mentioned in the one of the last videos, so the Spring has the dependency inversion, and it basically takes care of the creating the dependencies and making sure they're singleton for space count reasons and all those things. So basically, you don't need to declare the type like is equal to new. You don't have to declare all those things. This will automatically take care of it and make sure it is a singleton. So wherever this repository is used, it will be the same object that will be used in other classes as well. So that saves a little bit of space and all that things. All right. So actually, let me rename it to product type repository. So now here what we do is so optional. Let me just type this out, then I will explain a little. Optional is equal to product type repository dot find by ID product type ID. So find by ID, as I mentioned, the basic CRUD operations, they are given by the repository, and so we are using that. So we don't need to write any queries or anything like that. So this returns an optional type. So we'll be checking if the optional is null or what. So we'll do product type optional dot is empty. Sorry. Actually, I'd like to go the other way around. It's present. So we'll have a bit of code. We'll transform it to the product type return instead of that, and here we'll have a return null, else return null. And so what we'll do is product type return object is equal to new product type return. And now what we'll do is so return type object dot set product type ID is equal to product type optional dot get product type ID. All right. Now we have set the ID. Now what we need to do is we need to convert the char set from UTF-8 to a string. So that is what I'll do now. So basically I'll do is return object dot set description. What we'll do is it will be a new string, and it will be product type optional dot get dot. So this is currently in the char set format, and you need to specify the char set. So this will be a UTF-8 char set, and then we'll return this object. So return object, and I think that's one more thing. So here we are using @service, but if you have any other classes like which you need to use and you need to annotate it, you basically need to add it to the Spring like the boot up process. So you can use @component. That there's the controller is there for the controllers. So basically there's a bunch of classes which you can use. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is what it is, and basically what we'll have is a return new response entity. We'll specify its type as product type return, and this will be now yeah, I need to now bring the service over here. So it will be then auto-wired private product service. Now this will be product service dot get product type product sorry, this will be product type ID, I'll rename this over here, rename this, and we need to specify the HTTP status code dot value of 200, and let's see what happens. Actually, I want to start this application in debug mode so I can show the chart set that I was that I was saying about the blob. So we'll come to that in a second. All right, now let's go to the Postman. So I already have this set up. So localhost 9191, product type 123, and send. So we are getting this working. So we are getting description 1 as description 1. And to show you the other thing, the blob object. So what I'll do is I'll place a breakpoint over here. So this is the debug mode, and basically what you can do is you can place different breakpoints, and you can come to the point and code over there to see if something is failing. So usually when something fails, you'll go over there and place breakpoints, and you can basically write the expressions over here to debug the code. So right now we need to go here. So basically we just need to see what the response of this code is. So yeah, so this is the by default what the char set looks like. So yeah, so that's why we are using the conversion to this string. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Now we have a working controller where we are actually getting the data from the database. Now what I would like you guys to do is I would take this as a home assignment or something like that. So basically what you will do is you will create this table. So create this, first of all, you create this product table. You will have to give the annotations. So yeah, and for foreign keys, so basically if you look at the database right now, so this is a foreign key. Product type is a foreign key to the product type ID. So what you need to do is you need to there's a couple of annotations called a join column, and then you also need to use one-to-one, one-to-many. You need to see which one of those will be. So but basically, yeah, it will be one-to-many mapping from product type to product. So one product type can have multiple entries in product type. So it will be one-to-many. So think along that lines and try to do it. If you're able to do it, good. Otherwise, in the start, and I'll be sharing obviously I'll be sharing the code as well in the next lecture. So we'll start with that. I'll show you how it is done, and then we will be moving forward. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the lecture, and have a good day, and make sure to like and subscribe.